So here what we are doing that first we are creating one box object. So if I try to debug this program again, uh, there is one issue here. If I show you, so when I am creating this box object, right, so yesterday I have told when you will create one let me open again paint. When you will execute this line, so one box object will be created and it should have length, breadth, height. Suppose these are the field it will have, right? And I have also told that this b variable will refer to this, right? Suppose the address is 1000, so it will have 1000, and by default 000. So once I will execute this line, this is the box we are creating, right? So just think about in the real time, right? In the real time, when this box is made like this, right? So automatically it should have some you can say some length, breadth and height, right? So here I want that as soon as my object will create, as soon as this object will create, some numbers will be written here, right? So that in the real world it will make some sense, right? So if I talk about this question, this program only, so once I am executing this line, by default one you can say object is created, right? But can you assume any box in the real world which have length, breadth and height as 0, right? So you will see that we are setting this here, that is fine. If you execute this program, it will set the dimension of box, but I want as soon as my object will create, I will assign some values like this, right? Because as soon as this box will create, it should have some dimensions, right? But here you can see that we are doing in the next line, which is not good. So what I want, again I am saying that as soon as this object will create, automatically some values will be set to this object. So we can achieve that with the help of you can say constructor. So if I open this, so till last lecture we have discussed here, right? Till here we have discussed these one. So let us start this. What are constructors in Java? So before starting the constructor, you can see that whatever the values I am passing in the main method, we call them as actual parameter, right? And whatever the function, so this is the function, right? In the class addition there is one function sum. So if you pass any variables like this, so they will be called as formal parameter, right? So this is the one thing. And after that, let us see what is constructor in Java. So a constructor in Java is a special method that is used to initialize the objects, right? So basically this constructor is called automatically, right? This is line is important, that the constructor will be called automatically when an object of the class is created. So here as well, if I talk about, and these are the rules for defining a constructor. So constructor should have the same name as the class, and this line. So let us first see how to create a constructor, right? So if I insert this only, right? So the first line is that constructor name should be the same name as the class, right? So this is our class name. If I want to create one constructor here, this is constructor name, because it will have the same name as the class, right? So these are the same name, right? And after that, this line is written here that constructor does not have a return type, not even void, right? So if I, here you can see that I have not provided any return type before this, right? So if you write like this, void box, right? So then it will be treated as a method, but constructor do not have a return type, so you have to write like this. So once you will write this, and let me write some statement here. So this is called constructor invoked. So if I run this program, so automatically you will see that this line will be called. So let me show you how. So here when I am creating this object here, right? So automatically you will see the statement in the output, constructor invoked, right? So you can see, if I again show you, let me put debugger, right? So it will be called automatically. So first I will invoke this, right, and you will see automatically this constructor is called, right. So this is how constructor will work, right. So it will be called only once, right, it will be called only once, whereas you can call method n number of times, you can say of times. So here if I, so what kind of constructor is this called? It is nothing but, this kind of constructor is called no argument, right, and if you want to see you can write parameter right here as of now. So no argument constructor, because here I am not providing any parameter, right, so it do not have any parameter, so this kind of constructor is called no argument constructor. So in the definition also I have written it that so what is the need to create constructor, because if no value is specified then by default in the length breadth height will be set to 0, but in real world there cannot be any box which have all these three equal to 0, right. So constructor will run automatically as soon as our object is created, and it will give some value to the dimensions of box, right. So if I suppose this time let me provide parameter, right, so this is one, let me comment this. So if I create constructor like this, suppose if I want to set the parameter as well, so again constructor name will be same as the class name. So this is first point you have to keep in mind. So this is the same as the class name, and after that it do not have a return type, so before that you do not have to provide anything, right. So after that what I will say three parameter I have to set, so integer length, integer breadth, integer height, and inside that I will simply say equals to b like this, and here this time I will not call this method, you see I will not call this method, right, or let me remove this method, which is the one, yeah, this is the one, right. So this is a method because it have a return type as well. So let me comment this method. Okay, so what will happen if I run this again? Okay, so remove this all. So here it is throwing one error. Why? Because when you are defining a constructor like this, so here in the constructor, this is a constructor, right, and this kind of constructor is called parameterized constructor because it has some parameter, right. So once this we will create like this, so you have to pass these three value. So you can see what is the value I can pass: 44, 55, 66 like this, and after that let me say small box 1 dot what is the method, display the, show the dimension, right. So if I run this again, first of all our object will be created with the help of this keyword, new keyword, right. So it will create one object, but as soon as this object will create automatically this constructor, which is nothing but parameterized constructor, will run automatically, and it will provide some default some value, like, so whatever the value we have passed here, it will be run automatically. So if I show you, click this, you can see automatically this will be invoked and it will set the value, right. So here what is the problem we are facing? Earlier we need to initialize by using some other method, but I want that as soon as my object will create, automatically some default value what you will provide will be set. So here the constructor comes which solves the problem of initialization of our object. So you can see after that default value, you can see here small box, you can see. So color I have not provided here, so that is the reason you are seeing null. So you can also set color here, right, providing one more parameter. So after that, what will happen? Just it will print the dimensions. So what is the length? 44, 55, and I think 66, like this, right? So this is how you can create constructor. So this kind of constructor is called parameterized constructor, right? So you can have many parameters here. Likewise, if you have a string color, so you can also set color from here, right? So here let me write color name. This time let me put red. So here I have to set the color as well. So instead of writing here, just I will say here, I will say color equals to C. Sorry, color equals to, let me take it as C. And this time if I run this program, you will see all the values you are going to get, right? So it will run automatically with when as soon as your object will create. So here I have to provide one more line. And I will say color. So now you will see all the four things in your output. So this is how you can use the constructor, right? So if you see here, constructor should have the same name. So constructor is called only once at the time of object creation, right? So you can see here that it is calling this constructor, whatever we have defined here, is called only once, right? And you cannot call it like this. If you try to think, if you try to call like this, one dot, sorry, box, one dot. So here you will not, what is our class name, what is our this box, right? So if you try to create it, try to call it with the help of object, so this will not be called, right? So if I show dot, right, you can see this method. So actually this is not a method, right? So this is the reason you are not seeing it if I put dot operator, right? So you can see here that it will be called only once in this line, and after that you have to depend on the method, right? So methods can be called n number of time, but this will be called only once, right? So this we have covered that. So this we will cover later, that what is overloading and overwriting, right? So as of now, do not focus this. So these three are important. So are you getting that why we are needing the constructor?
Sumit, I have a question.
Yeah.
Suppose if we are creating two objects of a class, then the same constructor is calling
Yeah, let me show you as well.
for each.
Yeah, I got your point. So if you
Okay.
like this, if I create second box, a small box number 2, so again that constructor will also going to be called, right? And
Okay.
here you can set different value, 77, 99, 723, any value, right? So here I will say blue, and if I show the dimension, small box 2 dot show dimension, right? So again that constructor will be invoked, but for this object that constructor will be invoked only once, right? And for this object that constructor will be invoked only once. So if I show you, right click, debug Java application, so first it will go here. So you can see I think I have not put debugger here, so put debugger here so that it will stop, right? So for the first one it directly executed because I have not put any breakpoint here. So you can see here, if I show you 45, 66 red, right? And for this one again this constructor will be invoked, right? So once I execute this, you can see here, right? So it automatically comes here and it will set the values whatever you have passed, 77, 99, 732 and blue, right? So it will set and it will create my second box. After that I think we are printing these two values, so it will print right like this. So okay, so it should be show dimension, right? For the small box second, not color, dot show dimension. So run this, You can see for the first box these are the value. Is it clear?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so one more thing you have to, if I do not define any, so this, I think this is clear to you that this is the parameterized constructor, and if I do not place any value like this, sorry, not this one, let me remove this. If I define a constructor like this, box, so what is this constructor? This constructor will be called as no argument constructor, because you do not have provided any arguments here, right? So no argument constructor, this is the one, right? So suppose if I do not define any of the constructor, let me remove these two, and let me also remove this, right? So here you can see only methods are present, right? This is one method, right? And this is also one of the method, right? So if I do not declare any constructor, then what Java technology will does, actually at the, when your program will run, the compiler will itself place one default constructor, right? So if I show you in the diagram, here I think I have, yeah, so that is called default constructor that our technology provides. So suppose this is our class, public class, my class is our class name, and if you have one main method and you are creating the object of my class, so my class obj equals to new my class, so what that compiler will do at runtime, it will create one default constructor like this, right? So I think you are able to see this image. So my class, same name as the class, and opening bracket and outside bracket like this. So if I show you here, if you do not define any constructor here, so when you will right click and run your program, compiler will automatically place one default constructor like this. It will do it like this, right? So inside of that, so are you able to get what is this default? But if I write like this, then it will be, you can say, no argument, right? No argument constructor. But if you do not provide any of the constructor like this, then technology will do that for you. So here you can see, uh, are you able to get that what is this default and no argument constructor difference? This technology will provide, and this is I am writing. So here I have written this as well, that constructor with the no arguments is known as no arg constructor. The signature is same as the default constructor. However, body can have any code, unlike the default constructor where the body of the constructor is empty, right? So when the technology will create one default constructor, so the body will be empty. So here you can see that many people claim that the default and no argument constructor is same, but in fact they are not, because when you are defining this constructor demo, right? So demo, it cannot be called default constructor because you have written the code, right? So you have written this, so why you are calling this as default constructor, right? So there is one difference. And always remember, uh, when the technology will define the constructor like this, so suppose the technology defined the constructor like this, so let me write it here as well. So technology, or you can say compiler will place it automatically if you do not provide any. So inside of this constructor, always the first line will be super. So actually this is one keyword. So we will see this in the constructor chaining lecture. Here we will not see this. So what is this super and what is the benefit of it, we will see in our next class, right? So keyword automatically, if you do not write anything, again compiler will place this, right? So super, this is how the technology provides, right? So even if suppose even if I declare here like this, right? If I say box, suppose this time I have created this constructor like this. So first of all, compiler will check whether you have any constructor. So compiler will say yes, you have one constructor which you have defined. So next, what the compiler will check, whether you have written the uh, code as correct or not. So if the compiler will not find any super keyword, right? So this is one super. So at the runtime, it will automatically place this super keyword right here. So so the first line of all the constructors in Java will always be super, right? So you can also use one keyword which is called this. So we will see that in our next lecture. Here we will not see this, right? So you have to keep this in mind. So are you able to get why we are using constructor and how we can call them?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, sir.
Sir, in the default constructor, so there will be no values
Where?
sent by the Java compiler JVM.
No, see what I mean to say. Let me. So if suppose this is our default constructor,
Mm-hmm.
default. So that constructor do not have any constructor, is just for the initialization. Once this line will be called, this one, right? First, if I right click, debug as, uh, let me place debugger here. So again, Java virtual machine will going to set some default value, right? So if I execute this, so you will see again you will have some default values. Though this one will invoke, but that Java virtual machine again. So here you can find the default value. So it will set, right? JVM will set the default value. You can see.
Okay, so we can say that these default values are shown with the help of the default constructor.
See, I have seen many videos of some reputed one. So many people claim that that default constructor is useful, or you can say default constructor will be the one that is making object. But from my knowledge and from my searching, I have found that this is not true. That whatever the default values you are seeing here, right? So they will be set by the Java virtual machine, not this default one.
Okay.
So I will also send you some video if you want to refer, right after the class. So there they have clearly explained that this is not the case, that many people think that default constructor will
So
provide
they
the
are
default value.
basically using that super and thus this keyword inside their default constructor, which you will tell in the next lecture.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. So that is a separate concept of constructor chaining. So here first let us understand the basic of constructor, then we will go into that this in super next class. Okay. So here I think we have this, looked at this. So one more thing, if you define any constructor here like this, suppose I am defining like this, integer uh, length. Let me define this constructor. So this is again one parameterized constructor. Please put yourself on mute, some disturbance is coming from your side. So if I remove this, so earlier if I am not defining, suppose if I am not defining any constructor here, right? So you can see by default it will provide one default constructor, so error will be gone. But if I will create at least one constructor in my class, so I have created one constructor in my class, so but at that time if you write like this, so this time uh, compiler will not provide default constructor, right? So this you have to take care. If you define any constructor, then the technology will not going to provide you default constructor. It will provide only when you do not have any constructor inside your class. Is it clear? So you can see this is throwing error because I have defined one constructor in my class, but if I do not have any constructor inside my class, it will just going to provide you one default constructor at the runtime. And here you can see it is able to provide default constructor, so it is not throwing any error. But if I place one default constructor, sorry, parameterized constructor, then it will not going to throw the, sorry, this time it will throw the error. You have to pass the parameter because it is a parameterized constructor, so I will say 8. So then only you will get rid of this error, right? So this part is clear to everyone?
Yes.
So this is, we have discussed that what is this parameterized, right? Constructor which have the parameters is called parameterized constructor. So you can use this to set some values to your object when your object will be created. So this we have seen. So default constructor is different. Default constructor is the one that the technology will provide, but no argument constructor is different because we are writing this, right? So this we have done. So you can see this line again. Let me constructor does not have return type, you have to keep in mind. If you define void as the return type, so it will be treated as a method, right? So you do not have to write anything before the constructor, right? So this we have done. Constructor is called only once at the time of object creation. So this point is clear to everyone or not? This one which I am highlighting.
Yes, sir.
That okay? So
Yes.
this we have done, and so we will see that this and super keyword later on with the constructor. So as of now we will keep this much only in the constructor part. So let me start one new topic, right? So that is also going to be very important. So let us discuss this, what is inheritance in Java. So suppose before uh, understanding this definition, let us make one small program so you will understand it better. So let me new class. So suppose there is one college class. So college, so this is your main class, so it will have main method, so it is your main class. And let us say in the college there is one maths teacher. So maths teacher. So in if the teacher is a maths teacher, so I can write string main subject. So what is the main subject of maths teacher? It will be main subject. It will be what? It will be maths only, because he is a maths teacher, so it says, you can say, main subject, right? So if I want to suppose this is my main class, right? So here I will write all my code, right? Because this is the class where I am having main method. So in this college class, if I want to print the detail that what this teacher teaches, right? So how I can do? I can first, if I want to access this variable, so this is nothing but instance variable, right? Again, because we are defining inside the class, so this is nothing but instance variable, right? So inside this class, if I want to access this main subject, how I can do? First I have to create the object of this class. So where I will create the object? I will create the object inside my main method, right? So how I can create? Again, I will simply say maths teacher empty equals to object name equals to new maths, you can say teacher. So I have created the object of the class. So this is the activity, we have done it many times, right? So once you will create the object of any class, right, so you have the capability to access all the variable and all the methods. So here no methods are present, right? So there is one variable I want to access. So if I want to access this, how you can do? This is our object name, right? I will simply say empty dot. So you can see that you are getting like this main subject, right? So which means you are able to access. And what is this string? It is saying that if you want to catch that in one variable, you have to define that as a string as well, right? So if I click this and I can say string subject, let me write it full. So you will see how this flow will work. If I tell you, let me put debugger and let me write system. Okay, let me not write. So this is the debugger I placed, and here as well, right? College class. So if I run this, the same thing will happen. First of all, object will be created. So if I show you how this object will be created, you can see automatically we come to this because we have placed one debugger, right? So in our object, this variable will be set. So you can see this is our empty is our object name, and it will have one variable main subject which is having maths. So if I want to access this maths, I will just create the object. This is the object I have created for this class, and I will just say empty dot main subject. So once you will call this empty dot main subject, it will give you this value maths. So it will simply send it here. I think I should have placed one debugger after. Okay, so you can see maths will come, right? So this is we have done, and I will simply print this after that. I will say subject. So if I print it, you can see subject is maths. So till now it is clear to everyone. So we have not done anything new as of now. Please confirm.
Yes.
Okay, so suppose here it is the maths teacher. So let me define few more variable. So string, in which college this teacher teaches, I will say college name equals to IIT, right? So this is the not college name, college. And let me take designation of the teacher. So what is the designation? Teacher only, because that maths teacher is also a teacher. So equals to teacher. And let me take one more method. So let me create method inside this class. So void, this method will basically says what the teacher does, right? So I will say teacher teaches the subject. So if I want to call this method, if I want to access this method of this class, first I want to create the object of this class, and when I will say obj dot, automatically you will be able to call this method. So if I show you again, object we have created, this is our object name, and after that I will simply say empty dot does, right? So this is the method we have called, and after that you can also call empty dot, this time college name is also coming, college name, and let me directly print this. So instead of storing that in one variable, I will simply print this, and I think one more field is left, which is so designation, right? So let me print this as well. So run this, so you will get all the fields which you have defined, right? So I have in my college class, by creating the object of this class, I have printed all the details of the maths teacher, right? So the teacher is teacher, main subject is maths. So teacher, what teacher does, teacher teaches the subject, and teacher is teaching in the IIT college. So here I have written that, and designation you have printed, right? So designation is teacher only. So suppose there is one more teacher, so like maths teacher there is one more teacher, so I can say one more class, and I will say, you can say physics teacher. So that teacher main subject will be physics. So if I say string main subject equals to physics. So if I want to print the details of this physics teacher here in my college class, how I can do? Again, I can create one object, but this time I will create the object of physics teacher. So I will say physics teacher pt equals to new physics teacher, right? So teacher. Okay, so if I want to access this main subject of the physics teacher, I will simply say object dot main subject, so it will give me physics. So here is the one, yeah. So I can simply say pt dot main subject, right? So this time what it will give me, it will give me physics. So run this. You can see after this maths teacher, we are printing this physics teacher subject, which is nothing but physics. So likewise, for that physics teacher is also teaching in the same, you can say, same college, right? So if the maths teacher have these fields, right, so these are also common for the other teacher as well, right? So apart from this one, apart from this one, all the fields will going to be common for the other teacher as well, because they are teaching in the same college as well. So what I can do, I can also place this fields here in here, right? So after that, this one will be different for all the teacher, right? Because every teacher will have the different subject, but these three fields will going to be common, because that physics teacher is also teaching in the IIT college. He is also a teacher, and he also teaches the subject, right? So likewise, if one more teacher will come, suppose chemistry teacher will come, so there is one more class, chemistry teacher. So here, what is the main subject of chemistry teacher? So this time string main teacher equals to, let me say, chemistry is the main subject of this chemistry teacher. So this variable will again going to be different, but all the remaining fields will also again going to be same, right? So these are also common for that chemistry teacher as well, here, right? So if you want to access, you can just call the, sorry, if you want to access any field of this teacher, just just create the object of this, and you can access any field which we have already done for two teachers, right? But here there is one issue. You will see that this variable is different, right? So it is quite obvious that if the teacher is chemistry, he is not going to teach the physics, right? So it will be different, but this code is similar here in this class, and this code is also similar, right? So exactly the same code, but this line is different in each class. And here, if I talk about this one, these three, you can say, this highlighted code is again going to be same. So what I am doing, I am just making the same code again and again, right? I hope you are able to see that we are not reusing this code, but I am writing this code again and again, which is not good. So what we can do, we can create one separate class, right? We can create some separate class where I will put that common code. So this is the common code in each class, right? So I hope you are able to see. What I wanted to do, I wanted to uh, reuse this code. I wanted to reuse this code so that I do not have to write these lines of code again and again, right? So here the concept of inheritance will help you. So what the concept of inheritance will say, uh, see, if I talk about here, so once the code is written, right, so first consider this one. Once the code is written, it can be used again and again in the new classes. So we use extends keyword to achieve the inheritance, right? So the term inheritance refers that one class can inherit all of the properties like variable, or you can say methods, from the another class, right? So it is used for the code reusability, right? So if you are, suppose you are making one big project, so in the big project, if you write similar lines of code again and again, right, so what will happen, your project will become heavy. So apart from this, what you can do, you can create this class, sorry, you can put that code in one separate class, and all the class will going to be, all the class like chemistry teacher class, like maths teacher, physics teacher, all will be going to use that separate class, so that you do not have to write this code again and again. So if I show you how we can do, let me tell you here, then we will go to definition part. So let me create one class which is called, you can define like, let me say teacher. So this is one teacher, or you can say only teacher, okay? So here, what I will do, let me remove this first, ABC, not required. So this is the class I have created, one new class. So whatever the code, I am reusing it again and again. I will simply copy this code and I will place it here. and I will place it here, right? So, and if I talk about this, I will not going to write that code here, right? I will remove that code from here as well, and I will remove that code from here. So earlier we were writing this code for 3 times, and suppose 10 new teachers will come, so we were writing that code for 10 times, right? So what I have done, I have written it only once, like this, inside that new class teacher. So let me save it as well, right? So this is our teacher class, right? So here, so what is the error you are getting, right? So this time what I will do, let me remove this one. Okay, so here is the our code, here is our code which is common for all the teacher. So if I want to use this code, if I want to use this code here in the physics teacher class, I can use this keyword extends. Extends which class? This teacher. So once you use this keyword, what will happen? Whatever the code, whatever the code you have written here, whatever the code you have written here will also be accessible here, will also be accessible here, right? So this is how you can see that we are not writing that code again and again. So if I show you that after using this extends keyword, again you will create the object of this class physics teacher, right? So if I come here, let me save it first. So college class is where? Yeah, here. So here if I create, let us go with physics teacher because I have placed one extends keyword here, right? So let me say physics teacher, and on the right hand side as well you can write this one. So once I will say object empty dot, so you can see all this method is accessible, right? So you can see here after that the class name is also written teacher, which means this method is coming from teacher class. But as you are using this extends keyword, this keyword, right? So whatever the code you have written here, like you have created 2 variable, you have created one method. So with the help of this physics teacher object only, as you are using extends keyword, you will be able to access this code as well, right? So here, like you can access all the, wait a minute. So you will be able to access okay, so if I say empty dot, you can say does what the teacher does, and I can say empty dot college name, and I can simply print the college name.
Sir,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. But so right now in class college, so we have not extended the class teacher, no?
No, we do not have to extend. So let me okay tell you one minute.
Because so I know we are in the same package, but we are using extend keyword to access the method from other classes.
Yeah, yeah.
So right now, so physics teacher class अगर हम use कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे,
Hmm.
but we have not extended
See
in
earlier
college.
what we are doing earlier, if I have written the code like this, so try to understand that if I remove this, right? So earlier how you used to do, where it is one, yeah, here. So if I write, that will work, empty dot, it will have all the this method and all the remaining variables because you have the code here, right? That is fine. Okay, but what I am doing, I am not writing this code here, right? So if I remove this code from here, right, so will you going to get these fields? This time you will not going to get any field, right? If I say empty dot, so this time only this field will be accessible, which is nothing but this one, which is nothing but this one, because it is present, right? So what I have done, I have created one separate class like this. Inside that all the common code I have written, and if I want to access this code, right, so suppose I want to access this code in this class, right, so I can say extends teacher. So when you write like this, what will happen, whatever the code you have written here, right, whatever the code you have written here, that will come here, just assume, right? So it will come here. So once it will come here, you can simply again create the object of that class and call all the methods. So we do not need to create the extend here, right? Because
Okay,
earlier,
my concern is what in college.java class, I can see in your window. Sir, we need to extend teacher class, no?
Yeah, so I have not extended. So here,
Ah,
no, here you do not have to extend. See,
okay.
again I am telling you, if I remove this, first of all you have to understand this, that when I am writing the code here only, then how you are able to access with the help of object dot, by creating the object of physics teacher and writing like this college name, you are going to get all the fields, right? So this is clear.
Okay.
Okay, so if I remove this code from here, so is this code will be accessible, because you are not writing this, so only this will be accessible. So you can see here empty dot, you can see only one is accessible, right? So all these are another methods, right? So they are not belonging to that class. So what I am doing, if I want to access this all the common code, right, of this class, right, because the physics teacher will also going to have this, likewise physics teacher, maths teacher and the chemistry teacher all will going to have this same data, right, because they are teaching in the same college, they are a teacher, and every teacher will teach the subject. So what I can do, if I want to use this all the you can say variable, or you can say the data of teacher, I will simply say extends teacher. So once I will do like this, write like this after this class, whatever the code is written here, right, this code will also be accessible by creating the object of this class. So where we are creating the object, we are creating the object here, right? So you do not have to write extends here, because earlier we also not writing the extends, but we are able to call every data present here. So but when I will write extends teacher, so whatever the code you have written here, this code, right, so just assume this code will come here, right, here. So it will not come, actually it will be accessible, but for the understanding point of view, you can think of this, that whatever the code is written here, it will simply come here, it will simply come here, and you will be able to access just like you were doing earlier here. So is it clear now?
Okay, sir.
So I will
So
also show you in debug mode, right? Let me show you then how it will be done. So suppose
so
if I,
one question, sorry to disturb. One
yeah,
question here is that like we have a inheritance means you are saying that we have a class and we have some common code between
yeah,
them.
yeah.
So if there is some code, how we know that which exact class code to we have to call, like we have a class college and there are some teachers.
Yeah.
So is there any way that we can access we can know that which exact code we are calling? There is some code which are common between them.
So this is the principal, or you can say the college director will decide, right? That I cannot decide that which code is common. Here I am just citing one example, that if you have some code in common, right? So this is you have to decide, right? So the person who is creating the project, or the person who is running the college, he will decide that what, yeah,
That I understand that common code is based on the logic
yeah,
decided, but
yeah.
like we know that there is a class, there is a subclass, so we have some relation between the object of these classes. So through which class we have to pick code? I just want to know that.
And you are saying that through which class?
Like we know that one is a super class and
Yeah,
rest are the subclasses of
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So we know that that subclass can access the code of superclass,
Yeah.
but there is a limitation between that superclass object cannot access these subclass codes. So just want to know that how the objects of these classes are interrelated, the superclass and subclasses.
So you want me to create the object of that teacher class as well, right? Then you are asking that how we can access, right?
So, so inheritance means there is a one class and
Yeah, yeah.
rest who are extending are
Subclass.
the
Yeah,
subclasses.
yeah.
So uh, uh, like I am creating an object of class of a subclass.
Let me create. So
Okay.
this here I have created the subclass object, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a parent class, you can assume, and this is a subclass, because I'm extending that. So this is a you can say derived class, right? So I've created the object, as you are saying. Then what?
So which is my college is my main class, super class.
See, college is different class which where you are running your code simply, right? So here if I talk about, let me open paint, right? So if I new, so I think I have created that teacher class, right? So this is the teacher class. So assume that this is nothing but your super class, right? So here this is my super class, and once this teacher, physics teacher, or you can say chemistry teacher, so suppose this is my physics teacher, and suppose this is my chemistry teacher, and suppose likewise you can have one more, which is I think maths. So what this is the super class, and all these classes are the subclasses. So that college class you are talking about is our main class, right? So it do not have any relation with these classes, right? So here I am just running my code from this class, right? So here we will have main method, and here these are
We
my,
can say that the college class code is common for all other classes, and we are just using all the that code for all classes.
sorry,
Common code.
so common code I
We
have
can
written
say,
here in this class, super class.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So we are just extending this class for
yeah.
all class. Yeah.
Is it clear?
Now, my question is like you are saying the teacher class is a super class.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Physics and chemistry are a subclass of teacher.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So if I am creating an object of teacher class, so
Teacher class, right?
and okay, and
Inside here,
object
right?
of yeah.
Okay. See
So
if
there
you,
is because teacher T is equal to new
yeah, let me create
uh,
teacher t equals, you can create the object of this here as well.
new.
Yeah,
Can
but
I
here you will have
no
some
no no no
limitation, right?
no. I just want to know that can I create new physics over here? Physics teacher reference of subclass, superclass, and object of subclass.
See, you tell me what I write, then it will be clear, right? Otherwise,
Teacher T is equal to new physical
okay,
physics
okay, yeah,
teacher.
you can create. So we were discussed that parent p equals to new child. As of now, we will not discuss. You can create like this as well, because this is the parent. So this can refer anyone, right? Because that left one is the parent class. So if you do like
Mhm.
that, physics, let me write teacher. But if I do like this, t dot, you can say this one field is missing here, right? If I talk about this one, if you do like that, this will not be accessible, right? Why it will not be accessible? You can see here all the methods are coming which are present inside this. All the methods are coming, right? So college name is coming, designation is coming, you can see here college name is coming, and designation and the method is coming, but this field is not accessible to you, right? So if you declare like that, you will have some limitation, and you will not be able to access the child class field, right? So what is this child class field? Which is nothing but this one. If I remove this, you are not able to access this. So if you create the object of child class, which is nothing but our uh, subclass. If you create the object of this one, right? So these are nothing but uh, these are nothing but our subclass. If you
Mhm.
create, so whatever the data is available here, and whatever the data available here, you will able to access both the data. But if you create the, if you do like this, teacher t equals to new, and suppose chemistry teacher, right? So chemistry teacher. So but if you do like that, there will be some limitation. In that case, you will be able to access the data of this one, right? But whatever the data already defined here, like I have defined string main subject, so that will not be accessible by this variable object, you can say, right? So are you able to get the difference?
So you mean to say that through the reference of super class, I can only access the whatever mentioned in the teacher class.
Yeah.
So you can the super class,
Yeah.
not in the child class.
So here you can see I am not saying this, just see here, right? This is how it is working, right? So if you see here, I have already showed you that if you create object like this, even if you want to see, so this time I am creating the object with the help of this object will create, that is fine. So here I am creating the reference of parent class, teacher is my parent class. So if I say t dot, right? So one field is missing here, you can see. What is this? Main subject.
I can only see whatever mentioned in the teacher class, but not in the sub class.
Yeah. So if I define one more variable here, suppose uh, here is the one. Suppose this is we are talking about. So if I define any method, right? So physics. So let me make it as a method void physics, and you can say system.out.println physics class, right? Something like this. So if I create the object of this class, right here only, this time I have created. So if I say t dot, so here object, if I create, let me first go with this, right? So you will see, I think we have already created. So if I create the object like this, then you will be able to access whatever the code is coming from the teacher. So this code is coming from the teacher, right? Teacher class, you can see after that does method teacher is written, and this class code is coming from the physics teacher, and these two are also coming from you can say physics teacher only, right? So and this method physics teacher, I have created one more method, let me save it. So if I say empty dot, you can say this method is also present here, right? You are able to access every data, right? Whatever is present in parent and whatever is present in child class, right? If you create like this, but here if I create like this, if I give the reference of the parent one, then you will be able to access what is the error we are getting. If we create like this, then here you will not be able to access the child class one. So you can see only the teacher class, or after that does teacher is written, but here you will nowhere will see the data of our child class, right? So this is the difference you will create.
Yeah, so in nutshell, we can say that sub class can have all the access of parent and its own classes, but the teachers super class can only whatever the mention in the super class is not aware, whatever the method and variable mentioned in the
Yeah.
sub class.
Yeah. So here, as of now, we have not discussed that. Uh, in that one video, I will discuss that what is the difference between parent P. So here I have to explain that you asked anyways. So we will discuss that later on, that what is the difference between this one, so and this one, right? Later on we will discuss, right? This one.
Sir, sorry again, I'm interrupting, but because my doubt is still not clear.
Which one?
Sir, can you show me the PDF that you have drawn, teacher and maths and physics teacher?
Okay, so let me do one thing, right? So if it is not
Sir,
clear,
just 1 minute, okay?
yeah, let me do. No issue. You have to ask if you are not getting any issue doubt. So
Please, can you show me again the image that you have drawn?
this one teacher
No, sir, PDF में जो image बनाई थी, sir.
PDF में ये
have that PDF.
अच्छा ओके ओके
Maths, the image.
वेयर इमेज बनाई थी
You
मेरे को.
have
सर वो पेंट वाली इमेज को कह रहे
अच्छा ये तो हट गई.
you have erased it.
बना देता हूँ दोबारा. रुको, क्या था, एक तो टीचर था,
Just redo it. Maybe it will be there.
टीचर और फिजिक्स.
Yes. I'm very sorry, sir, but my doubt is not clear. That's
नो
why
इशू नो इशू.
I'm asking
फिजिक्स,
same question again.
केमिस्ट्री,
And maths.
टीचर एंड मैथ्स.
Just like. And sir, teacher is our base class or super class. Okay, I'm saying base class.
Let me take it as, you can call it as base or the parent class, you can call it any name. Okay, all these are my derived class.
These are the derived class. Okay. So, and you have taken another class that is which class?
Yeah, college is nothing but our, here I will execute all my class code, right? So college
Means that's a inheritance case. If we are writing the base class and derived class, we are testing the functionalities in
yeah,
other class.
yeah.
It is like a test class. Now, so college class will be act as a test
Hey, you
class.
can say
Test.
that here I am testing my code, right? So you
Okay.
should have one main method, right? Otherwise, how you will execute your code? So you can say I am
So
test.
not writing the main method in the derived class. Why we are not writing? Is it possible?
So if you want to write
And
all the classes like this, right? Okay, let me write. If you want to combine all the classes in one class, you can do that. So actually, I don't want it to mess up everything in one class. So this is the reason I have created separate class. So suppose this is the class. What is the class? I can say teacher, right? So
so is
yeah,
and
I will
all
I
in
will
one.
write all the code in one class only. If I
Okay, yes.
so type already exists. Okay, so teacher class like
Teacher
this,
one.
and if I copy this code, right? So I think you can create. So one is the class. What is your one class? Class physics uh, extends. You can say teacher class, and you can say class. Sorry, physics teacher. Let me write physics teacher, and you can say class. What is our other class? Our other class is maths teacher extends teacher class, right? So here you can write again string main subject. What is the main subject of physics? Physics is only the main subject, and here as well you can write what is the maths teacher subject. It is maths. So let me go with only, let me know what, not go with the third teacher. So what is the error you are getting? Maths teacher. Okay, so here I have defined one class. Let me create maths teacher class, another name of the class, right? So but it is the, okay, so error gone. So you can also call that. So let me write some ready-made sorry, not ready-made. So what is the common code we are writing here? Let me copy the code, and where it is, teacher class, I think. Yeah, so you can define this code like this, right? And this time if you do not want to write the college class, you can simply call all the, so again, if I want to use this class, if I want to print whatever the data you are seeing for this physics teacher, I can copy, I can just create the object inside the main method, pt equals to new, like this. So once I will create the object, so as you are using this extends keyword, right, for this class, so if you create the object of that class, this field will be accessible, and as you are extending this teacher class, this code will also be accessible, right? So this code will also be accessible. So you can see pt dot, so you can see college name on the top, designation after that, and this is the does method, right? And there is one more which is main subject. So all these fields will be accessible, right? So you can do like this. If you do like this, but if you see, if I remove this extends keyword, which means I am not reusing the code, then it will throw the error, because this time you are not getting that data here. So is it clear to you that we can also do in the same class?
No, sir. No, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm sure. But sir, again, I have to ask you, as you are using a third class where we are taking a main function,
Yeah.
so we can do the same thing with the base class and the derived class. हमारे पास base class है and derived class है. We can create, we
Okay,
can
okay.
write main function in derived class.
Yeah, you can,
Means
you, I got your point what you want to say. So you want to say, suppose this is my parent class, right?
suppose we have only one base class and only one derived class. Okay, we say two derived classes we are having. So we can create main function in both the derived classes, and we can access the data from base class.
See, in general, if you see in project, they will always create one main method, right? So you will for every class you should not create main method. So if you want to do like that, you can do. So suppose if I take class A, let me take with the name base. Base. So this is my base class, and let me create derived class. So only two classes, right? Right?
Okay.
So should I create one more class like this or not?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
let me take it as class 1, and let me copy this.
Derived class 2.
Yeah, copy and paste class, right? So basically what is the error we are getting here, right? So we have two classes, error gone, and okay, so this is our base class. So suppose in the base class I will write string.
Any method, sir. Any method.
Yeah, let me write method. So I will say show. I will say
The return type.
I will put I am in base class, right? So let me take void, so it will not return anything. Okay, so this we have created. So in these two classes, which is one derived one and derived class 1, so it will extend that base class, right? You want to say like this.
Yes.
So here I have extended, so that, sorry, base class, and here as well, uh, which is the second one, right? So it will also extend the base class. So here I will create main method, right, according to you?
Yes.
Yeah, I will also create. So you can just create main method. So there is one shortcut, control space and hit enter. So it will automatically generate the main method. So here if I want to access this base class
Yes.
method, what I can do in the college, sorry, not college, derived class, right? So here I have made one method. I will simply make the object of this base class. So base class b equals to new,
No, sir,
or
we
you
have
can
only
do like this only, right? So you can to get the object of this. Yeah, sorry for that. So and this time you will see show method. Yeah, here you can see, you can call this, and if you run this, it will print the I am in base class method. If I, you can see I am in base class, and same here you can do as well, extends base class. So here I will create the object of this class,
derived class.
right? So here first I have to make the main method.
Okay.
So this,
That is my question, sir. Every time when we are using the data in from base class to derived class,
yeah,
in each derived class, there is a requirement of main method to access the functionality from base class. अभी हमने derived class 1 लिखा है सर, 2 भी लिखा है, तो दोनों में हमने main method यूज किया है.
yeah.
Okay, मतलब every time जब भी हम
See, but issue is that earlier I am doing the same operation without creating two methods. So likewise, if you have 10 derived class, right? Suppose we have 10 derived class. So in every class, what is the, if I can do with the help of one main method, then why we should create extra methods, right, in every class? So there is no requirement, right, if you are achieving the same thing with the help of one method,
okay.
right? So basically people just have one main method inside every, whenever we will even discuss the framework as well. So here you will see we will have only one main method, right, where our program execution will start, and then from that main method only we will just going to trigger all our test case, right? So I hope this is clear now, right, that you can also do like this.
Yes, sir.
So let me delete this. Okay, let me not delete this one. So first of all, let me tell me that, are you able to get that why we are using extends keyword?
Yes, sir.
Why?
So we are extending the functionalities from the base
Yeah,
class into.
so that we do not have to write the code over and over again, right? So
Yes,
let us go with the definition again. So it is saying that one class can inherit all the property, or property in the sense variable, and the behavior in the sense methods from the another class. So this concept inheritance is mainly mostly used for code reusability, so that we can use our code again and again. And if you want to achieve that, you can achieve that with the help of extends keyword. So let us see what are the types of inheritance we have. So if I talk about this single level inheritance, so that single level inheritance will look like this, right? So only consider the first diagram. So here you will have one superclass and one base class. So here you might think that this arrow is wrongly implemented, right? So you might think that if I open paint, so file, new, so suppose this is my superclass. So if you also call superclass as base class, parent class, so you can call any name, right? So you might think that if this is the superclass and this is the base class, right? So I will say, suppose the class name is A and this is class name is B, right? So this is my class name, class A, some code here, and I will say class B extends. So I will use extends keyword. So whatever the data you will define here, that will also be accessible here in this class B with the help of this object, right? This class B object. So I will say extend C. So this is the general representation, right? So this is nothing but our single inheritance. So because we have one base class, or you can say super class, and sorry, it should be derived, right? This is our base class, or you can say super class, and this is our derived class. So right, so people also say this is a child class. This is, so child class you can say, and you can say this is a parent, right? So this is how you have to represent, right, single inheritance, which means this base class is extending or inheriting the properties of this superclass, right? So this is, you do not have to write like this, right? Because, but by the general convention they define the arrow upwards only, right? So this is how you have to represent. Here I am saying that this class, this derived class, right, is inheriting. So let me write it, a derived class inherits all the properties of parent class, parent, or you can say base class, base, or the parent class, right? So this is nothing but our single inheritance, right? So here we have only one class, superclass, and one derived class. So this is clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So I have written here as well. So if you want to see that single level inheritance, right? So these are the images I got from Google, right? So I thought of pasting it here so that it will be more clear. So you can say when one class is extended by only one class, it is called single inheritance. In single level inheritance, we have just one base class. That base class is nothing but our parent class, and one derived class. So this is our derived class, or you can say, right, child class, right? So the derived class, so this is our derived class, will inherit all the property and behavior from a single class. So whatever the property you will define in the base class, that will come here, right? So this is how you have to write class base and class derived extends base, right? So whatever the variable and the method you can declare, right? So this is nothing but our single level inheritance. So here also we have already achieved. If I talk about this class, again college class, right? So let me remove this. So if I talk about only one teacher, physics teacher, right? So forget about all the classes, just consider this one. So here as well, I am using that extends keyword, right? So suppose this is one class and this is another class. So here that teacher, okay, let me again open. That teacher is nothing but my super class. So I will write teacher class, and there is one more class which is called physics teacher, right? Teacher. So it is, you can represent it like this. So parent class, child class, right? So this is nothing but you can say single level inheritance, right? Why we are calling this as a single level inheritance? Because this teacher is our parent class. So whatever the code you are writing here, right? So once you will provide extends keyword after this child class extends teacher, right? So whatever the code you have written here in this class, that will also be accessible when I will create the object of this class inside this class, right? So this is nothing but our single inheritance. So this single inheritance is clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So let us discuss this second one. What is this hierarchical inheritance? So if I come here only, right? So what in the hierarchical inheritance, you will have one parent class. That super class is nothing but our parent class, and from that parent class, multiple classes can implement the, or multiple classes can inherit the properties of that parent class. So suppose okay, so I have written here only. So if you see this, right, so a class which is inherited by the many subclasses, so this class A base class, that class B is inheriting that base class C and class D as well. So in that case we call that such a type of inheritance as hierarchical inheritance. So in the other words, when one class is extended by many subclasses, it is called hierarchical inheritance. So in this kind of inheritance, so again they are writing the same thing again and again, right? So in this kind of inheritance, one class can be a parent. So this class A, which is nothing but the base class, this is a parent of more, more, this is a parent of three classes, right? So they can have four, they can have five classes as well, right? So it can be any number. So this is the diagram. So you can see class A is the parent of all the three classes B, C and D. That is, class B, C and D inherits the same class A and share all the fields methods of the class A, right? So what is this private member? So if you declare anything as private, so that will not be inherited. So we will discuss that modifier later on, just consider till here, right? So here as well, if I show you, we also achieved hierarchical inheritance here as well, because this is our parent class, teacher is our parent class, that will have all this common code, right? This is our parent class. So that physics teacher is also extending that parent class teacher, right? So this is our child class, assume, and this maths teacher is also extending that teacher's class. So second class is extending this, extends teacher, and that third class, so maths completed, physics completed, and then third is chemistry. So this class is also extending the parent class. So one class is the parent of three classes here, right? So this teacher class is the parent of, so if I want to represent here, let me, so if I represent here that teacher class, which is nothing but our base class, right? So we have three classes. I think first is maths, anything you can take, maths teacher class, and one is physics one, and the third is chemistry one, right? So all these classes you are seeing that these are nothing but a derived class. Again let me write derived class, and this is one our base class. So this is nothing but hierarchical inheritance, because three classes are extending this one class, right? So here what is this kind of inheritance is called hierarchical inheritance. So this is clear to everyone? We have already achieved this.
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can see here as well, if I, once you will extend that teacher's class, again I am saying, you will be able to access every method, right? So we are not talking about the private one, so just consider this one as well, right? So there is one more kind of inheritance if I talk about, which is nothing but multi-level. So this example we have not discussed. So here in multi-level, what happens, suppose I will say, let me write it here again, what in the multi-level inheritance will happen. In the multi-level inheritance, you have one class, this is your parent class, right? Let me say grandparent, right? Just for the understanding purpose, grandparent class. So in that grandparent class, there is one more class, class B. So that class B, basically what class B will do, so let me represent it like this, all the properties of this A class will come fall into B class. So suppose this is my class A, right? Some code here. If I write class B extends A, so suppose the grandparent surname is Goel, right? Suppose the grandparent surname is Goel. So if that second one, suppose this is the son of this class A, right? So if I will say class B extends A, so this field, this variable will also be accessible here, right? So this is what I am showing. So this is nothing but our parent. But suppose this is grandparent and this is parent and the third class is son. So son will also going to have the same surname, right? So here let me depict it with son, right? Son class. Suppose this is our son class. So if that's class S, class son, S stands for son, extends B, then this whatever the variable you are seeing here, this will also be accessible here, right? Why it will be accessible? Because when you are saying class B extends A, so this variable is accessible here, right? And once this will uh, have the right to call this variable, then once you are saying extends B, so this will have the accessibility of this one. So like this, class S will also have the accessibility of this one, which is nothing but our this variable, right? So this is how we call this such kind of inheritance as multi-level, right? So if I again explain you here in the Eclipse, let us do one practical example. So here let me create one more class, and that class will have, so that basically director is the parent of all the teachers. Not parent, you can say, means he is the head, right? So director, you can say director head. So this is one class, right? What director will say, director will say that I will create one method. The method name will be public, right? So you can say public void, and I will say dress code, right? So that whatever the college director, he will say that teacher have to follow some dress code if you want to teach in a college, in my college. So he will say simply all the teachers should wear formals, right? So this is the advice, or you can say this is the one thing he has defined. If you want to work in his college, then you have to wear formals. So in that, if I want to achieve the same thing with the inheritance, here I will say that using the hierarchical inheritance is a good type. So what I can do, this is our grandparent class, right? So whatever the teacher will have, it will extend that director class. So if we extend that, let me write director head, right? So once all the teachers will, once they will be extend, so if I extend that physics teacher, let me talk about this only. See, again I am saying when I am, yeah, this is our class, right? So if I extend this class, so where I am extending this class, I am extending that class inside this class, extends director head. So whatever the code I have written here, so I think I have written one method, so that method will be able to accessible by this class, right? So once that method will come here, I am saying extend this class as well. So if I come to this physics teacher, so extends teacher, so this teacher class, sorry, this physics teacher class will now also have the accessibility of this method, right? So this is nothing but the hierarchical inheritance. So if I show you that how, so suppose this is the class, right? So if I say uh, let me say empty dot, you can say this is the method, it is coming from our grandparent class, right? Dress. So once I execute this, you will see one output which is nothing but our, you can say all teachers will should wear the formal, right? So if I show you that how it will be represented again, right? So this time, okay, so this time what I will do, again I will show you how. So this is our, you can see director class, director head, right? So and after that every teacher class will going to access the property, and there is physics teacher, right? So you can have many teachers, physics, or you can just say, if I say on the right hand side, class director head, so I'm writing in short, this will have one method. So what is the method? Dress code, right? So dress code. So here I have written, I think, formal, right? So suppose this is the method, it is present. So once I will say class teacher extends that director head class, so that method will also be accessible here, right? So that method will also be accessible here. And at the end, when I will say extend this class, right, because this class has the accessibility of this method, because I am using extend keyword. And if I say class physics teacher extends this class, right, as this class has the accessibility of this one, so this physics teacher class will also going to have the accessibility of this method, right? So this is how you can say hierarchical, sorry, multi-level, right? Hierarchical we have covered, multi-level inheritance, right? So is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Right, so this is, again, if I come to here, so this we have done, that how to achieve multi-level inheritance, right? So you can see here as well how to write class A is the parent, class B extends A, and class C extends B, right? So there are basically three types of inheritance possible in Java. So if I talk about these two, sorry, this is a multiple and hybrid inheritance, right? So they are not supported by the Java, right? So what I mean, if I show you why, so what is the multiple I have created, I think, yeah. So what is this multiple inheritance? So if I show you here, so file, new. So if suppose there is one class A, class A, class B, and I will write, suppose it have one method which is having the name as show. There is one method, just assume, so it will have some method and some lines of code, and this class A will have also going to have some method with the help of, sorry, same method will have show method, so it will also have some lines, right? So what the multiple inheritance will say, so there will be one base class, sorry, one you can say derived class. This is our derived class. So this derived class will going to have the property of this A class as well and B class as well. So I will simply write class, you can say derived, so let me write it here, derived class, and I will say extends A comma B, right? I have to write like this because I am narrating the property of these two classes at a time. So here there is one issue, when you will try to call the, suppose when I am just extending that, so that show method will fall here, right, in this class, and this show method will also fall here. So what will happen when you will try to create the object of derived class d equals to new derived class, suppose you are created, once you will say d dot, so that compiler will confuse that whether I need to call the show method of A class and whether I need to call the show method of B class, right? So this is the reason there will be, you can say, such kind of issues is called ambiguity error, right? So compiler will confuse which method to call. So this is the reason uh, we do not have multiple inheritance in Java. We can achieve that with the help of inheritance, sorry, interface. So we will discuss, we have not discussed that concept, so once we will discuss, then we will see how to achieve that with the help of inheritance. But if I talk about the class, multiple inheritance will not be possible with the help of class only, right? So are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
So if I also show you, then you will see class A, let me create three class. So class A, so what is the class A? Class A, and let me create one more class, new class B, and let me create derived class, right? So that derived class, so let me make main method here only. So what I want to do, right, so this is our main method. So I will say, let me first create two method, right, which is nothing but show method. So show hello, something like this, public void. So here as well, let me copy this, and in the B class, suppose I write like this, and I will say hi, right? So some different message, but the method name will going to be the same here as well and here as well, right? So once I will say, I think this is our base class, I think. No, this is okay. So I think this is the one, right? Yeah. So here I will say extends. So if I want to extend one class, that will be allowed, right? So this is nothing but single inheritance. But if I want to say multiple inheritance, which means I want to get the properties of both the class, so here it will not be able to do to allow you, right? Because you have same method in both the classes. And even if I say show, I will say s. So where is the one derived class? You can see, even if you change the method name as well, right? Because in Java, if you think that they are the same method, right? So you might think that I will not create the same method in both the classes, then I can achieve. But here, if they have not provided for the similar method, so they also have not provided the multiple inheritance uh, for the methods which are not similar, right? So even if you have different methods in both the classes, then also with the help of class, you cannot achieve multiple inheritance in Java, right? So you can see, right, it is error is coming. So you can achieve single inheritance, that is fine. So is it clear to everyone? Such kind of errors are called ambiguity error.
Okay.
Okay. So if I talk about this multiple, it is not possible. So if I talk about this inheritance, which is nothing but the hybrid inheritance, so multiple will look like something like this, right? Yellow one. And if I talk about this hybrid inheritance, so actually this hybrid inheritance uh, is also not supported by Java, because that hybrid inheritance is a combination of any of the four, right? So if you combine single with hierarchical inheritance, so that will be also called as a hierarchical inheritance. But what happens, I am saying that hybrid can be combination of any of the four, right? But if you are not able to implement this interface with any of this, right, so they will say, in many websites they will say that this is also not possible. So here I have written that not supported by Java if you use multiple inheritance along with any inheritance, right? Because multiple inheritance is not possible, right? So if I use multiple with any of the first three, then it will not be possible, because multiple is not possible. But I can do like this, single plus hierarchical inheritance, right? I can also say multi-level plus single inheritance, right? So if I talk about this, what is this, why it is not possible, let us see again, right? So suppose uh, let me here only, right? So let us discuss that hybrid inheritance first, and let me tell you again why it is not possible. Suppose this is my class A, right? And suppose these are the two classes, class B and class C, and last one is class D, right? So if this class will have some show method, right? So it can easily have show method because it is a single class. Once this class B extends A, so what will have, this class will also going to have show method. And once this class C will extend a class, so let me put arrow, right? Once this class uh, will have you can say, this will also have show method, but it is because it is extending this class A, right? So but once this class, so what is this, if you think about this one, this is nothing but hierarchical inheritance. I hope you remember that hierarchical inheritance, right? Because sorry, I think it is multiple inheritance, sorry. So this one is nothing but, okay, let me, this top one, so this is nothing but hierarchical inheritance, right? Because that a class is extended by more than one class, right? So this is nothing but hierarchical inheritance, hierarchical. But here what I am doing, I am using multiple inheritance, because uh, that class D is extending the properties of both the classes, right? So here we are using below line multiple inheritance, right? Multiple inheritance, actually it is not possible, right? So but here you can see once class D will have this show method, again it will create ambiguity error, right? Because once you create the object of this class, that show method will also come into this class, and that show method will also come into this class. So compiler will again confuse, right? So here such kind of problem in case of hybrid inheritance we call it as a diamond problem, right? So they have just created this diamond problem, right? So because it's shape, sorry.
Yeah, Sumit, actually one question by chat. So
Yeah,
you're saying that multiple inheritance is not possible in Java because you means same job means method will be created in
yeah,
uh, parent and then your
yeah,
child class.
yeah.
So that can be the case with the in hierarchical one also means I have created one class over there in the
Okay,
parent one and in the child class also and means same class, same method I have created in both the classes. So in that case, also the compiler will get confused the which one we have to call it.
let me first open the print, right? How you want to say, let me. So suppose I have created one parent class like this, right?
Yes,
So you can have one more classes. So let me say child 1, child 2, child 3, right?
yes,
So let me, so here I can say, suppose show method is here, right?
yes,
So if I do like this, so this will have show method,
yes,
this will have show method,
yeah,
and this will also have show method, right? So here they are not, it do not have any to show method, right? So it can, here it will not be an issue because uh, this class have, when it will call this method with the help of this object, class object, so it is actually
yeah,
referring to this one. And this is actually, suppose if you print the output here as, I will say my name Sumit, right? So when you will invoke this method, you will going to see Sumit 3 times. Are you getting it?
yeah. Yeah. Means now if I want to create a new so method in the child class, then
If you have already created, so let us see as well, right? So it will be more clear. So if I take class A, let me create one method show, right? And in
yeah,
the class B I will create, I will not create, I will extend from A. So I will say extends A, right? So this I
yes,
have extended, let me create C class. So class C, let me create, so new class, class C. So just to go with this one, and I will say, so A, it will also extend C class, right? So we have created the structure like this, I think, A, B, C, and D. So T will actually, okay, so we have to discuss that hierarchical one, right? Not multiple.
yeah, yeah,
So let
yes,
us know. So this we have created A class. It will
yeah,
have this method, right? So class B will extend this class, and the class C will, sorry, let me remove this one. Let us delete this. So delete this. Okay, so we have, okay, so now it will throw error. Okay, so here what the hierarchical inheritance will say, you have one class and this class is extended by more than one class, right? B and C,
yeah,
right? So here if I create one method, so let me create the same method. Here I think method overriding concept will be there, right? So here you will not get error. Why you will not get the error? Because this method is being overridden by, overridden, you can say spelling overridden. So actually this is a concept of sorry,
okay, overriding is
override,
time.
right?
Okay,
So actually
got it.
what will happen once this class A, right, once I am extending, I am having the same method, you can see, right? Once this class will extend that, let me say class B, So actually there is a separate lecture for that, right? So don't worry, as of now just understand this. So let me write class A. So what will happen when I will call this method? So again the same method, just the definition is here is different, right? So class B, right? So here I am having the same method. So if I invoke this method, right? So let me invoke here only. I will create main method quickly, main control space enter, right? So this is the main method. So if I make the object of class B, so
Yeah.
b obj equals to new b, sorry, new b. So once I call b dot, sorry, obj dot, right? So this is the method which I have defined already in my class B, right? So this is nothing but the class B method, and this there is one more method, class A. So what will happen if you are having the two class but you are using this keyword, right? So this is the method. If I invoke here, you will going to get only one method, right? Which is, right, you can see after that what it is written, it is treating only class B, because here that class A method is overridden by this one. So if I invoke this, you will see class B, right? Because that method present in A class is being overridden by that class B, right? So here it will not be an issue, because there is some other concept which is method overriding, and method overriding we will discuss in the next class. Here it is creating a problem. See, try to understand the difference, why it is creating the problem here. If we have already have some method here, right? So that will be overloaded, but here this method is coming here, this method is coming here, and this method is also coming here. So this is the reason it is creating issue. But in this, if I talk about this A and B like this, suppose it will have show method, right? And it will have show method. So in this class, no two methods are coming simultaneously like this, like this. Only one method is coming, but here method overriding concept will came into picture. So here you will not get any issue in case of that hierarchical inheritance, right? Are you able to get?
Okay, got it.
Okay, so when we will discuss that overriding concept, then it will be more clear, right? So as of now, in case of hybrid inheritance, right, so there will be some ambiguity error, or you
So,
can,
got it. Means in this multiple, one system is getting confused of which one means it has to override, because B and C are there, and here it is we are in case we have to override it in D, and it is getting confused which one
yeah,
which method will we have to override.
yeah. So this is the issue, because this show method is also coming from the class B, and from this class C also show method is coming. So it will confuse when I will try to create the object. Then I want to call which method. But here method overriding concept will work, right? Because here only one method is present here, and only one method is present here, right? So it will be override in this case. But here this the case is different, right?
Okay, okay, got it.
Okay,
Thanks.
okay. So here if I come, so but you can do like this. Suppose I think I have written here multiple. So you can see I have written, I have just shown you one program here as well. Class A will have one method void message, and the class B will also have one method which is void message. So when the class C will extend, will try to inherit both the classes A and B, right? So what will happen now? Which message method should be called? It will confuse. So this is the reason multiple and hybrid inheritance is not possible. But I have told you earlier, if you combine any of the inheritance, sorry, if you combine, I have told you that hybrid inheritance is a combination of any one of the four, right? Any one of the four. So if I remove this, if I try to implement multi-level, sorry, multiple with single, then it will not be possible, because multiple inheritance is not possible, right? So how can the combination of that two will be possible? But if I remove this one, if I remove this line, highlighted one, then the multiple hybrid inheritance can be a combination of these three, right? So let us see here how it can be possible. Think I have placed one diagram here. Yeah. So this also diagram I got from Google, right? So here they have explained clearly. Suppose if I do like this, grandparent, father, son, daughter. So let me make diagram again. So I will say uh, let me say class A, right? Class A. So what is how they have shown in the diagram? Where is the one? Yeah. Okay. So here, if you see, if I say one more class after this, suppose this is class B, and if I define like this, so here you can see it is without multiple inheritance. It is a, you can say, C D. If you see here, like, so if I talk about this one, left one, right? Only if you, so what is this? It is a multi-level. I hope you remember this, that how we have done for the multi-level, because we have for the multi-level we have like this. So this is nothing but our multi-level inheritance, right? And if I talk about this one, if I show it with the other one, so if I talk about this one, so this is nothing but hierarchical inheritance, right? This middle one, if you I am showing it by the green line, right? So multi-level plus that hierarchical, right? Hierarchical is like this, right? So here you can see when I'm saying multi-level, so here on the right hand side, if you see, uh, let me take it with this one, from here like this, if you are able to see. So this is also multi-level, right? So two multi-level and one, you can say, so you can say single inheritance is also occurring here, right? These two classes single inheritance, right? Here the combination of these three are, we are calling that as hybrid inheritance, right? So this is nothing but our hybrid inheritance. But if you are combining, if you try to achieve it with the help of multiple inheritance, that hybrid inheritance, it is not possible, as a multiple inheritance is also not possible, right? So you can achieve it, but without the help of, you can say, multiple inheritance, right? So if I show you in the diagram, so what they have done, so you can say two multi-level, grandfather, father and son, and grandfather, father and daughter, and along with that they have one, father is extended by son, father is extended by daughter, which is nothing but the hierarchical, and they have represented the diagram like this, right? So are you able to get that how we are achieving that hybrid inheritance without multiple?
Yes.
Okay, so that will be an assignment for you, right? So try to implement this program, right? So you can just take some random data and try to implement this hybrid inheritance, right? And if you face any issue, then just post that in the classroom, right? Is it clear?
Yes.
So you can see how we have discussed this inheritance, right? So we have covered all the five one, right? So these two, in many websites you will see that they will just say it is not possible, right? But actually it is possible if you do not use multiple inheritance, right? Otherwise it will not be possible. So there is one interface concept which will help us to apply these two concepts in Java. So anyways, so let us see one more thing quickly. So after this, okay, so let us discuss what are the types of relationship between the classes. So if I, let me open notepad. So if I write like this, class A, and I will say class B, right, like this. So as of now there is no relationship between these two classes, right? But once I will say tends A, so by writing like this there will be one relationship between these two classes. So what is the type of relationship we are going to see, right? So it will not take much time. So whatever the concept inheritance we have discussed as of now, it is called is a relationship, right? So what is that is a relationship? Let us see, right? So here, so why we build a relationship? So here you can see when I am writing like this, class B extends A, here I am making one relationship between these two classes, right? Between these two classes I am making one relationship, right? So why we make the relationship? So that we can achieve the code reusability benefit, right? So we have already done that, how we can reuse our code with the help of inheritance. And that is the second advantage is that is a different topic we will see, and you can achieve method overriding, right, with the help of this as well. So anyways, just focus this one as of now because we have not discussed this method overriding. So once I will come here, right, so we call inheritance as a kind of is a relationship. So suppose these are two classes, right? So I have showed you when you will, so here what you are using, you are creating the single inheritance. I hope you remember single inheritance I am achieving here, right? Single inheritance, right? So here once class B will extend A, so there will be some relationship built, right? So if I talk about the real world example, suppose if I do like this, so class class vehicle, suppose I am one class vehicle, and that class car will extend that vehicle, right? So we can say such kind of a relationship as is a relationship. So I will simply say class class sorry car is a vehicle, right? So that type of relationship you can form here is a relationship, right? You can see. So I can, when I will do like that, it means that car is a vehicle, that relationship is formed. So are you able to get that what kind of relationship we are getting? And if I say you can say okay, so after that let me write. So if I say like this, class, I will say, you can say HOD or not HOD, or let me take HOD only, right? So class HOD. And if I say class, no, this is not a good, so I am not getting any good example here apart from this, right? So as of now, so are you able to get that why I'm saying that car is a vehicle, right? Because that class is extending this class. So the relationship which will be formed with the help of inheritance, we say such type of the inheritance as is a relationship. So is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
But actually here you will get one disadvantage. What is this tightly coupled? So let me explain you here only. So if I say, so let me create two more class. Let me take vehicle only, or let me take vehicle, right? So vehicle. So if I say, and there is one more class which is called car class, car. So inside that it will extend vehicle, extends vehicle class. So main method, okay, so here if I am extending that vehicle class, suppose this one person has provided me this vehicle class, and that person says to me that that I will set the color of every vehicle, right? So suppose if the motorcycle class, suppose there is one more class motorcycle apart from the car class, if you want to create the motorcycle as well, you can use this vehicle class, but the color will set to red, right? So I said okay, I can use this vehicles class, I will extend that vehicle class, and here I will, where is the car class? I think, yeah, here. So I will say class car extends vehicle. Here I will simply say if I want to access, I will create the object of that class. C equals to new car, right? And I will simply say system.out.println color of the car is, I will say C, is the C variable we have defined there, color of the car vehicle, right? You can see, sorry, as we have defined. So let me this. So once you will invoke this program, you will going to see this in your output. That is fine and it will work, right? So if I am making that car class with the help of that vehicle class, okay, so we have to access this with the help of object only. So C dot, right? So let me create car object with car. Let me write car, right? So with the help of object, I am accessing that variable of the vehicle class, right? So if I run this program, you will see the color of the car is red, right? So but the person who has provided, I want that whatever the cars I will make in the near future, I also want to, I do not want to change any of the color apart from red. I also I only want to make the cars which have the color red, but this person who has provided me this vehicle, he can change this anytime, right? So he can change blue. So this time what happened, when I will run this program, I will get the color of the car is blue, right? So when you implement this kind of is a relationship, so what is the relationship here? As we are using inheritance, the relationship car is a vehicle. Here the disadvantage with this approach is the classes will become tightly coupled, so that car class and the vehicle class will become vehicle in the car class becomes tightly coupled. So what is this tightly coupled means? It means that if I change anything in my parent class, if I change anything in my vehicle class, which is nothing but my parent class, then the derived class which is extending that class will also going to be affected, right? So if you have one big project, right, and suppose you are everywhere inheriting that class, but suppose you have made some changes here in this class, so whatever the class that will inheriting that will also going to be affected, right? So this is the reason, this is the disadvantage if you try to implement that is a relationship. So are you able to get the disadvantage of this? If I'm just changing my parent class fields or the methods, then
Yeah,
it
it
will,
is a disadvantage and advantage also. No, if you want to change it everywhere, then we are changing it in the parent class and it will be implemented in the child class also.
yeah, you can say that it is an advantage, but suppose you don't know na, right, that if you are extending this class, if that class is provided by some other person, then he can change, so that in that case it is not a good way to approach. You can implement this one only when you are very sure that this class will not going to be changed in the near future, right? So if you are very sure that this class will not going to be changed in the near future, then you can use this concept happily. But if you are not sure that it might change, then if you apply this, then your uh, you can say class car, right? So that parent, sorry, child class will going to be affected, right? So is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
this kind of relationship is a relationship. So let us discuss this last one. What is this? Is another kind of relationship which is called has a relationship. So this is the most commonly used relationship here. So here if I say, if I, so we have done that from the very first lecture, we used to write the class like this, right? So here what kind of relationship happened? A student has a name, right? So this is the relationship which has built. You can see student has a roll number, right? So if I write one more, int mobile phone number, so there is one relationship which is formed. So you will not say here that student is a roll number, that student is a name, right? So here has a relationship will occur, and we call that as association, right? So this is one of the way we can achieve the association. You can see here, so this we have achieved so many times, right? So there is one more way by using new keyword, right? So what I will do, suppose this is our class, this is our class, right? So what kind of relationship will occur here? You can see, I should have written here only. Let me remove some space. Okay, so this is my class, and so yeah, so actually this is my class, suppose, and this is also the car, right? So if I want that engine class inside my car class, so what I will say, so what kind of relationship if I write like this, right? So here I am not using extends keyword, I am not using, right? Extends engine I am not using, but still if I want to access, if I want to access each and every variable of that class, I will do in the other way. I will simply create the object of this engine class inside that car class, right? So with the help of this e object, I will be able to access each and every variable present in the engine class. So such kind of relationship will be formed here as car has an engine, right? So you can see that car has a engine object, right? So car requires engine to drive, right? We require engine in the car so that we can drive our car. So here earlier we used to do like that. So but here the what is the disadvantage you can get? if something changed in this parent class, right, so they will also going to reflect inside this class, right? But if I do like this, if I implement this do like this, suppose there are two variable, int color, sorry, not int, string color equals to red. So color can change, just I've showed you, right? So here I'm just assuming, right? So there is one also int number of tire. So you can see here they can change the color, but if you are talking about car, numbers of tire will also remain going to be 4. They will not going to be changed, right? So here you are sure. So what you will do, so let me just, what you will do, suppose they can change the color, they can change the color of the that engine class, let me, right, but they will not going to change the number of tire, right? So let me take it as a, right, so what we can do, if I do like that, I can simply say e dot, and I will say number of tire, right? I will simply use this, I can also use this one, but I am not sure that they might change that field in the near future. So I will, once I will define like this, I will only access those fields of this class which I required, right, which my project required, right? I will not be going to access all the fields, so that if you change blue here, right, if you change blue here, right, so that will not going to be affect in my class, because I am using only this one which is not going to be changed in the near future. So this is the reason we will, if I am not sure that this class will change, you can also do. So such kind of relationship will be called as has a relationship, right? So car has a engine, right? So here the two classes are not tightly coupled. If I made any change in the code, so if I say, if I declare one more variable, or you can say method, if I declare this method like this, right? So as I am not using extend keyword here, I am not using extend keyword here, right? So I think it is a car, right? As I am not using extend keyword here, this does method will not going to become inside this, right? So this class will not going to be affected in any case, because I am creating the object, and I required only this variable, right? I do not require any other field. So this class will not going to be affected if you use has a relationship, right? So are you able to get the difference between is a relationship and has a relationship? Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Sumit, so basically in a as a relationship we only call the required parameters, not all.
Yeah, you can say
Okay.
it's up to the your project requirement and what is the class you are making, right? If you want to use all the methods of the class, and if you are sure that you are not going to change that parent class, you can use this one. But here the disadvantage is that if that you will make any changes to this class, that will also going to be reflect here, right? But here this is not the case. We will access only those variable, only those method which are required for us, right, by creating the object inside the this, right? So this is how has a relationship is formed. So if I talk about one diagram, so this we have discussed, right? So we have discussed this association, sorry, inheritance is nothing but is a relationship. And what is this association? If I say this association, we called it as a has a relationship, right? And association is also of two types. Has a relationship, we called it as association, right? uh, Relationship, yeah. So here it is of two types. First is aggregation and second is composition. So we call the aggregation as weak bonding. So what is this weak bonding? Let us see. Suppose just consider this car. This is our car class. This is our music player class, right? So if I remove this class, suppose I am removing this class, right? So if I remove that class, will that class will also going to be removed? No, because car has its own existence. Car has its own existence, right? So if car do not have a music player, still the car will be present in our world, right? And similarly, if I remove the car class, okay, so I think let me write again. So if I remove music player, then also our car class will exist, right? Because car, if any car do not have a music player, it doesn't mean that car class cannot exist. Same if I remove car class, right? So do not consider the right one as of now. If I remove the car class and I simply say music player, so can music player exist without a car? Yes, music player has its own existence, right? So if car is not available, still you can have music player, right? Has its own existence. So such kind of bonding between the classes is called as you can say you can call them as aggregation, right? Because this is a car, right? So existence of if existence of one of the classes if existence of one of the classes will not be present, then also that class can be present, right? Because even you do not have a car, you can have a music player, and if you do not have a music player, still you can have a car, right? So such kind of bonding between the classes is called weak bonding, right? So if I talk about one more example, suppose if I say car again, and this time I will say engine, right? So if I remove the car class, right? So this is my car class. If I remove this car class, so if you are not implementing the engine inside any car, so then what is the use of the engine remain, right? So engine need one car to so that it can be placed inside the car and then the car can run. So if I remove the car class, existence of this engine is also not going to be useful for us, right? So it is not useful for us if the car is not there, so that class is also not useful for us. And in the similar way, if I write it here car and I will say engine, right? So if I think I have removed this. Okay, so this time if I remove the engine class, so if the car doesn't have engine, if the car doesn't have any engine, so will be the use of the class, right? So here, because if a car does not have engine, then how the car can run? So these two, car class and the engine, are dependent on each other, right? So these two, car and the engine, are dependent on each other. Such kind of relationship is called strong bonding, right? So this is the basic difference between aggregation and composition. So is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Right. So if I take one more example quickly, so we have just give me 10 minutes more. Then if I take new, okay, not new, let me write it here only. So let us take one more example of this one. So if I talk about college, right? If I talk about college, suppose there is one college. So if the college, so I hope you know that you will note that in every college there are some department, like so department like CS department, IT, double E. There are many department like this, right? So electrical department. So and there is suppose teacher. Let me take okay teacher only. But here if you see, if the college doesn't have a teacher, suppose the college do not have any teacher, so will this college will exist? Yes, it will exist, right? So without the teacher as well. So I think this is not a good example, but let me take without teacher as well, college building will exist. But if the college do not have any department, right? And if the college do not exist, suppose the college does not exist, teacher can exist or not? Teacher can exist. So here that kind of relationship is called weak bonding, right? Such kind of relationship here is called weak bonding. But if I take that second one, department one, so if I say college, okay, so let me take college and I will say yeah department, right? So department. So if the college doesn't have any CSE department, IT department, right? So will there be use of any this college? right? So college will be nothing, right? If the college do not have any department, then the college alone is not sufficient, right? So here, if I remove the college, right? So if I just write like the CSE department, IT department, triple E, right? So if the college is not there, if they is there any chance they can exist, right? Because these branches are present inside the college only. So if I remove this, their existence will not matter, right? So such kind of bonding here is, you can say, strong bonding, right? So here, such kind of bonding is called strong bonding. So this is the basic difference between these two. So is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the time? Okay, so 12 minutes more. Okay, so we have covered till now, and in the next class, so I will share this PPT with you all after this, right? So what is this? We have discussed till here, right? So I will give you some assignments, right? So maybe tomorrow or today only, so just practice that, right? So that's all for today.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you everyone for attending today's session.
One more minute.
Yeah.
Hello, Sumit. In for loop assignment,
Yeah.
question number 8 is there. Write a program to find factorial from number 1 to 15. How
Uh-huh.
we can do that?
So you tried that?
I tried, but I did not got anything. Means in for loop
Okay, okay.
assignment question, second last question.